Hello, this is Eric of Notbouse and welcome to my review of the MSI MAG301CR2. This is a VA gaming monitor with, well, a very good high contrast ratio, which totally beats the 27GL850. Of course, there are certain questions you may have, and I'm going to try to attempt to answer, well, most of those questions. And if you haven't seen it, watch my unboxing video and initial impressions, but mostly for the unboxing part if you actually want to see what's included in the box itself. And for the user manual, you'll have to download that because there is only nothing but an install guide in the package in terms of manuals. Now, to initially start, I'm just going to go through the ports of this monitor, and then I'll continue on to this website. So at the back of the monitor, we have all your different devices to be connected. So your DC power, and by the way, the hub is not powered unless you connect it to your PC or use USB-C, but that's a little trick I'll show you in a moment. Display port, HDMI, a secondary HDMI. So if you need a USB powered port without a USB hub, you can charge your devices. The USB-C port also supports DisplayPort alternate mode. Not all USB ports on a PC support DisplayPort mode, and tends to be a feature more common to Mac and the Thunderbolt specifications. There are cables that actually go USB-C to DisplayPort adapter, but these are not the same. And your audio for headphones, so if you want to use headphones to listen to the monitor, well, you can. And now, how about that website to MSI? I'll try to leave a link in the comments, as well as any other links we need to know here, including to my previous video with the unboxing of this screen. So the website for the screen, if you want to find, say, the drivers or any of the downloadables, you go here. So here you can find the driver for the monitor, manuals, you can find in all different languages, or you go to the utilities and get the OSD. And the Gaming OSD allows you to have the crosshairs and, well, all customization through software rather than through just the screen itself. You might be wondering what the Gaming OSD is and how to enable it. Well, it's a matter of a press of a button. The power button's here, but the opposite side is actually a macro button, a function type button. Press that, and it shows up just like so. However, let's go into the computer to see what I'm doing. And I'm going to have to display on screen so you can actually see that it actually affects the video of what I'm actually showing and what it actually would actually see. Because what you see on here is not what you see, well, on the screen itself, recorded in the computer. So here you can control the brightness of your monitor. See, it's dimmer. And you can set it up. And whatever you want for image enhancement, strongest, weak, off. I like weak on myself personally. Choose a crosshair. The one problem is crosshair always remains on screen. And to show that, you can see that on your screen right now, this crosshair. Now press stop. I can choose what kind of split window I want if I have multiple monitors. Different tools, pointer speed, all different options. On-screen keyboard if I really want it. Macro keys, so the function key, what it does. I can choose here, choose the lighting at the back of my monitor, turn it on, off, whatever I want to choose for style. Optimum refresh rate, settings, with display port, your OSD, that's the red button, you click the back of the screen. The timeout period, so it's set to 20 seconds right now. The contrast ratio is 3000 to 1. 300 nits of brightness, but I think it actually gets to about 315 nits of brightness, which seems kind of low, especially when the 27GL850 is listed as 400 nits, but the top brightness I actually tested is 349 nits of brightness. But of course, at that brightness, 100%, the light bleed is absolutely horrid on that monitor. And I can crank this up to max, and it's not a problem. Also, this monitor has a curve of 1500R, and of course this size of monitor, you don't really need the curve, but I guess it's kind of a nice to have. To elaborate on the higher contrast ratio, when I looked at the sky when it was actually bright in The Witcher 3, it actually almost hurt my eyes how bright that white was. It was actually amazing. Because on the 27GL850, because that's the one I own, so that's what I'm comparing it to, it looks white. It looks white. This screen, it looks bright. And that is actually something much better about this monitor. Especially, of course, also there's not so much backlight bleed. So you can actually crank it to 100%. And in the dark room, not a problem. What could I say? What is not to like about that? Thank you for those that left comments. And of course, thanks to the comments about ghosting. I thought, hey, I'm going to add yet another game to the mix. So I'm going to start with the most fast-paced first-person shooter I actually have on my computer this time, Doom. So one very valid question may be is how your experience may differ with this ultra-wide versus a regular shape screen like the 27GL850. Well, I'm going to show the block resolution of the 27GL850 versus ultra-wide and show you how much more you can see, especially of your gameplay, and how your experience may differ, say, editing video or watching videos online. Here's the gameplay I showed on my unboxing video and my initial setup. This is Destroy All Humans. Now you might be wondering, how does this look with the lights off? Well, let's turn all the lights off and find out. And now I'm going to change it to regular size. And this is what you'd see on a regular screen. And if you're wondering about the concern about black bars, it's not too shabby on this screen at all. I have it 85% brightness, which is about 270-ish nits of brightness. On the 27GL850, if I had more than 225 nits of brightness, then it's actually going to be too bright and too much backlight would come bleeding through. Let's go back to ultra wide. And here we are, back to ultra wide. So look at our frame rate now, what we're at. We're about 95-ish frames per second. So 1080p regular resolution. We're now at about 115 frames per second. So you see that snow hair here? Let's go to regular full screen now. This is what you'd see on the 27GL850 right now. Let's change it to what you don't see on a regular screen like the 27GL850. There's the rabbit there now. Look how much room we have. And there's more room here as well. Again, we're able to see wider than we can normally. Let's go halfway between this little plant thing so we get a better idea, better feel. Halfway. And change to the other resolution you'd see on a normal monitor. One down, apply. Now how about videos? Let's watch the tick. Is this full screen? This is not full screen. So how about Terminator Genesis? Well, Dark Fate, sorry. Terminator Dark Fate. Well, this is full screen. This is Amazon Prime, by the way, where full screen and not full screen is kind of hit and miss. How about Curiosity Stream? Let's go to Science. Let's choose another one. And it seems that everything's be for regular resolution. I checked a few other videos, and I didn't see any ultra widescreen videos.
It was a pleasant surprise for me that the System
And we see
76
black bars here.
Pro actually did pretty well for this channel. You guys seem to really enjoy it. So here we are again with System 76. Once again, this one is the Darter Pro.
So you can see it'd be normally editing like this, but then I'll have much view down below here. So it gives you a longer view across your timeline, but less view if you're adding lots of effects. For gameplay, it is quite nice to definitely have that little bit of extra area. It's kind of almost like cheating, especially when you're playing a multiplayer game where you're actually competing against each other. You can actually see more around you, so that is definitely nice. The colors on this VA panel are punchier, crisper, stronger than any other VA panel I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've used about 4 different models. I use several different IPS monitors as well, and this is comparable to a good IPS. In fact, well, some of the aspects are actually better, and so I guess I must say this monitor I'd recommend for sure, except the stand. It does stick out pretty far, so it does take quite a bit of room on your desk. If I stack both monitors over top of each other, we can see that the 27GL850 is definitely a bit shorter. And if I stack them height to height, you can see it's also a bit taller for the 27GL. 27GL850. LG, my old gaming monitor, my new gaming monitor. I find text on this monitor to be extremely sharp, except with one odd occurrence. White text against a black background. The text looks a little bit, well, I don't know how to explain it, but maybe you can see in this video here. However, all other text looks pretty regular, no matter what the color, just black and white. Now for a side-by-side of the LG 27GL850 versus the MSI MAG301CR2. So let's see how those viewing angles shift the colors and see if it actually affects it badly. Considering this is a VA, colors don't really shift much. However, if you look to the right and look at the blue section, you'll be able to observe that fade in blue tone as the angle of the screen shifts from center. Of course, no review would actually be complete without actually showing how the actual monitor works in terms of fastness and if there's reverse ghosting. So most of this, well actually pretty much all of this is going to be in actually slower motion, high speed recording, so I can actually show the details. So you'll actually get a true feeling for what kind of motion blur, and if you run at lower frame rate, what's going to actually happen. Because honestly, if you don't have a fast computer, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot if you're getting low frame rates already. And to avoid image tearing, Enable adaptive zinc, G-Zinc, whatever you want to call it. In the screen, the monitor is called AMD FreeZync Premium. That'll avoid tearing and help with any of that stuttering that can happen. Of course, with it off versus on, it shouldn't affect your gameplay really at all, in terms of frame rate that is. And of course, FreeZync Premium, the enhanced version, well, what that is, has the lower frame rate compensation. So if you have a low frame rate and not playing fast, well, high frame rates, it'll at least help for that image tearing unless you're falling below 48 frames per second. Of course, if you're falling that low frame rate, I recommend do not get this monitor for gaming, because your games will look horrid. You'll see ghosting like no tomorrow because your frame rate, it doesn't matter what the refresh rate is, if your frame rate is excessively low, you'll just get horrible image ghosting. Get a fast graphics card if you want a fast gaming monitor, especially this one, a VA panel. Now, one thing I want to let you know about is the setting called low motion blur. I recommend not enabling it because it will actually destroy the quality of the image. You're much better with it off. It actually does strobing, reduces your brightness by 50%, also it locks out of a bunch of your settings, and of course, well, I'll show it in slow motion what it does. And of course, when it's strobed, I'll show that. And then an image of what I see when it actually strobes. It's not good. Seizure warning. So skip this if you have seizures. 3, 2, 1, go. So you can notice that strobe, but this was recorded in slow motion at 960 frames per second. And of course, that picture that you see with the red here, that's the strobe when it is strobed, and of course, this is what I see. It's not good. Well, the 27GL850 is a bit overall faster. However, the experience overall on ultra wide, as long as you don't mind those black bars under certain situations, it's actually a better experience on the MSI monitor. And coming soon, you can expect a follow-up video for the ultimate guide with this monitor. So what settings to use, and of course, why not to use certain settings. This monitor doesn't actually need much tuning, it's actually pretty darn good out of the box, but there's certain things you might want to know and certain questions you may have. Feel free to leave a comment below of what questions you may have. Please leave a like, subscribe to Not BIOS, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful day.
This is Not BIOS, Tech and Hardware.